Z's for Rebel News here in Montreal. And folks, it's 24 hours later, and I have indeed returned to the scene of the crime. And I only say that half facetiously because, oh yeah, there was a crime committed here a day ago, but the crime was committed by the Montreal Police Service. The crime was committed by officers who were so overzealous to shut down the practice of journalism that they arrested my colleague, Kian Bexty. They violently arrested me. They came to this boat that is an Airbnb, which was, I should remind you, under capacity, and came without a warrant to come aboard and search and arrest and ticket people. It was an absolutely disgraceful overreach by the Montreal Police Service. And in case you think I'm exaggerating, well, just look what happened to me in this takedown. This is why I am now charged with assaulting a peace officer. You tell me who was assaulting whom.
But that's right. He's being charged with assaulting a police officer. Before we get to it, I did want to point out, because there was another, I mean, of course, they've been milking this content forever, and I'm going to milk it too, because it's amazing seeing David get arrested all the fucking time. But one thing that David points out, and I want to see if we can notice it in here, is as he's being taken away by the police, they like push him through. See this orange tape that's sort of sticking out here? They kind of push him past it, but it lands at his head, and he says he had to gnaw through it.
I didn't realize he gnawed through it. I thought they just were like, fuck it, pull him through, and it just broke, but that's even more amazing.
He claims he had to bite through it with his teeth. Okay, so we'll keep our eyes out for that.
Bunch of cowards that you are.
But again, the claim here is that the police were the criminals, not him in this instance. And here's the thing. As our opening segment set up, not a huge fan of the police. I still don't think he should have been arrested here. That being said, he did technically assault a police officer. Like, that's going to be very clear with the interaction. He did technically do that.
And very funny to watch.
Yes.
So, you're actually that away? Oh, look at this, the affirmative action hire.
The affirmative action hire.
Wow.
You know,
Right off the bat.
Just to drain all the sympathy that you might have for this asshole. Yeah. Apparently this officer's name is Officer Trudeau as well. So
I'm going to enjoy watching his ass get arrested. Let's play this video.
Are you Celine Dion? Hey,
are you Celine Dion? I didn't even fucking notice that.
Jeez.
Oh, thank you, famous. Why is it doing this? So, let's see if I click it. It won't say your name, famous horse, but I gotta give you your sound drop. There's been some disconnect with my Streamlabs where it doesn't. I can test the widget within the thing. Watch. If I test subscription.
I'm young and I'm black and my hat's down low.
See, it does it properly there when I test it.
You probably don't have it for resub.
Maybe it's for resubs. Yeah.
No, you need to fix it. Yeah. Because I also didn't get my David Menzies, so I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe you need to fix your shit.
Well, there you got your sound drop of Ezra rapping Jay-Z. So I'm sorry that it did not drop when you resubbed, but thank you, famous horse, so much for the resub. And I don't know who the slut is. Is David Menzies the slut? Are we the sluts? I don't know.
Me. Yes.
But we'll take it either way. Much appreciated. Thank you. Now let's watch this guy get arrested. And he called her Celine Dion too. Oh my god, what a! And again, they act like watch Ezra's reaction to this. So she's lightly touching him to back away from this car that they're trying to get through.
Action hire. Are you Celine Dion? Hey, do not touch our people. I don't want you to get hit by do not touch us. Oh, here come the real police. Here come the real police. Touch him! Did you touch him? Why did you touch him?
I fucking love Ezra.
I love Ezra's mad voice so much.
He's so red in the face. He's so red. He's so full of impotent rage. Jesus Christ.
And he
I mean,
was
they have been out in the sun for a little while. They're probably sunburnt. Like, if you look at David Menzies, like, he is red
Good.
also.
well, he
Let
was
him get
arrested
cancer.
this morning.
I hope they get skin cancer.
Ezra was arrested that morning, so he's a bit his feelings have been hurt.
They didn't give him water at the police station.
I don't even think they took him to the police station. I just think they held him in the back of the car for a while and then let him go again.
It was a hot car. They didn't roll the windows down.
Did you touch him?
No, he drove into me. He drove into me.
And then look at David Menzies' posture here. Now, granted, they're police, they have weapons, all that stuff. But, like, it's the middle of a pandemic, she's wearing a mask, and you're cowering over her after you called her a diversity... Or was it diversity hire? I can't remember what he said exactly.
Yeah, diversity hire, and then he referred to her as Celine Dion.
Yeah.
Hiding your name into me.
And so there's the incident right there. They both gently pushed him to back up after he's not listening. And this is how David responds.
Keep your distance.
Oh, David. Oh, David. We're going to take that white privilege away now. We're going to expose you to the cops.
It was affirmative action hire, yes. So, like, here's the thing is, again, in my perfect world, do I think this, like, merits David Menzies getting arrested? No. But I am going to laugh joyously at a buffoon getting himself in this fucking situation. Especially because he's an old white man, and you know that the police are going to treat him with kid gloves, obviously. Other than the fact that they're going to make him bite through this orange tape that I'm so excited to see. I love now they're using multiple camera angles to get this.
Here are the thugs. Here come the thugs. Shame, 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 shame.
We don't need to listen to the shames again.
Shame, 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 shame.
No, can you read this part?
No, I
It
guess
goes on for
shame,
so long.
Wait, here it comes.
Shame,
Oh no, they're back away.
shame, 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 shame.
He chose to bite it.
He chose to bite it. Okay, let's watch that again. Sorry, you're gonna hear the shames again.
Shame, 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 shame.
Yeah, well, there's like
shame,
he lunges, kind of like
shame.
yeah, he kind of goes for it.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't duck his
Goes for
head.
it.
He probably
All
tried
the
to get around his
adrenaline.
neck, but
All that adrenaline David must be feeling.
Shame,
Being handled with children's clothes.
Get through the fucking orange tape.
Can I ask for a favor, Jody? Could you indulge me just for a moment?
Yeah, what's up?
Could you mute the video and go back to just as he's being carried away? I have some auditory enhancements for this segment.
Okay. Let's
Yeah, right there's fine.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Okay, and it's muted. Okay.
are you making this audio?
That's it. That's all I got.
What was that?
What was that from?
It was literally just like the dumbest, like Stewie follows fat guy with a tuba.
There was I used to love the guy who whenever there would be like neo-Nazi marches or like Confederate marches, and he would just follow them with like
Yeah,
trombone. Bomb.
Exactly.
Or, like, the tuba. Bomb. 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 Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly my thought there. I was like, yeah, it's exactly the same thing.
Introduce you to the crowd.
Oh
here.
fuck.
This is
Like
user number 1, user number 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's about, I want to say, a dozen police officers here.
Fucking clowns! You do that. Fucking disgrace. You're gonna dislodge the implant.
I hope
You can't.
there's
What?
a capital that shit, but I do hope he,
Search me for send fucking
get charged.
Send fucking
Like the convicted, I guess, because he's already
You will put you in hospital if you touch me like that.
Jody, I cannot hear you over this audio.
Oh, sorry. I just said that I hope he gets convicted.
Were you able to hear what he was saying there?
He was saying something like, "Don't touch me like that" or something.
I think he said something like he's got a couple artificial hips and you'll put me in the hospital if you touch me like that, something like that. That's what I heard.
Okay, let's try it again.
I have 2 artificial hips.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit! Was that from getting hit by the bus or?
2 artificial hips. David, then you shouldn't have pushed a police officer. David.
David's a cyborg. That's why he's the Menzoid.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, David, the Menzoid Menzies. Don't push me.
Oh, look.
I've got 2 artificial hips.
Oh, look, it's the affirmative action hire. Are you Celine Dion?
Oh, he's a bigotry robot. That's depressing.
You will put me in hospital if you touch me like that. You understand that? Do you believe me or not? Okay, please stop.
So as you can
So I will 100% fuck the police and all this shit. And like, you know, I'll say, like, I don't think David Menzies should be treated like that for the tiny little shove that he gave that officer. He's a piece of shit bigot. And here's the thing that like really annoys me about all this is they'll never extend this kind of sympathy towards other people who are brutalized by the police ever. They didn't for George Floyd. They haven't for anything else coming out of Black Lives Matter. None of that. Indigenous people. In fact, I played on the podcast this week for anyone can listen. Just over a year ago, so it would have been like around February. I think February of 2020 is when they were doing the rail blockades across Canada in solidarity with the wet sweating.
I think it might have been March.
It
All
was,
I know is that it was after I broke my ankle.
yeah, it was
That it like became local at least.
it was
I
before
think
the
it started
lockdowns,
probably in
but it was-
January.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we have audio of Ezra on his show basically being like, well, I don't support people driving through the blockades, but I understand it. And if the police aren't going to do anything, then why not? Like Ezra said that on his fucking show. So it's like they have no sympathy whatsoever with other people. And in fact, kind of like, well, like, if people are going to drive through them, then people are going to drive through them, was his like stance to other protests and activists. But of course, they're going to milk this up. And they've been doing this on their show lately as well. It's like taking this sort of like anti-cop stance and being like, I used to be so against police brutality. Or no, I used to be like okay with police brutality to a certain extent. I think Ezra said that he like remained ignorant about it. He was just like, I just assumed that police weren't being brutal. And when they did, I just figured that the people deserved it. Like that was his like assumption approaching these situations. And he's like, now I see what they're doing. I'm totally against it. When it's like, you should have been against it all along, you assholes. And until they come out and apologize for all the shitty things they said to people who've been brutalized by police, I don't fucking buy it from them. They can go to hell.
can see by the videotape, it was a female police officer who was getting handsy on me for no reason.
Handsy? Do you think he used that language the way that he...
Yeah, that was very intentional.
I subscribe to the
I turned it
guy
down,
code,
just
so
didn't
I'm not going to fight
Not
back
used to this
against a
rumble.
female, even a belligerent female.
Oh my god, and the way he's using female, too. I'm not gonna fight a female, let alone a belligerent female. Jesus fucking Christ, David. So it's like he's ruining... I just sympathized with him for like 1 second, and immediately he's making me regret that. Jesus fucking Christ.
A police officer, but it was Officer Trudeau, and I'm not making this up, folks. Officer Trudeau,
Officer Trudeau is
that
him,
came
maybe?
charging at me. He hit me first.
Okay.
I put out my arm as a defensive reaction, and that is
Is that a defensive reaction? Like, what a phrase.
Only it's a defensive reaction if your pride is injured.
Yeah. That was him going, please don't, I have 2 bad hips.
It seems like a kindergartner reaction. Like,
Yeah.
like a school ground, like,
No.
I can't
look
look
at the
weak.
form, you know? Like,
Yeah.
he looks like he's about to fall over.
An assault that gets me hauled into a police
I still
cruiser,
love this guy. Yankee
spending
or whatever
hours
his
in
name is.
jail, and for what? Again, it's all about shutting down the practice of journalism. At least if your journalism espouses a politically incorrect thought process from the mainstream media. Well, folks, I was just reporting at the so-called scene of the crime 24 hours later, and this gentleman came up, and he thanked us very much for what we're doing, which I guess is telling the other side of the story. Sir, you're familiar with what happened a day ago here at this boat. You saw the Montreal Police Service, for reasons that are beyond us. They didn't even have search warrants to come on this boat. What do you make of it all?
Well, just a
Before this guy talks here, what's
Ivory's
that?
gentle
Oh no, another.
washes and deodorants are now made without parabens, phthalates, or
Meow. What was I gonna say? It's weird that they found some like random dude. And they're like, we're just gonna interview this random dude. It's the random dude who's
one
also
at the end.
at the docks here. But it's like they keep making this claim about the warrant, and I don't know about the legality of these things. But it's like, dude, I'm not even sure, because it's an Airbnb boat that you rented, and you've disobeyed some laws to get it to where it is, according to if the police case here is correct. They were breaking laws getting it here, and then they broke laws for like the group of them all being together without wearing masks on the boat. They're going to claim that they didn't violate any of these rules, but let's just say that they did violate any rules. Do the police then still need a warrant to like go in there and like see what's up or not? Like, I'm not sure what I don't know enough about.
I don't know, Jody. You know, if you can hear gunshots behind my door, I don't think the police are allowed to come in and ask me what's going on. They need a warrant to search if I'm clearly committing a crime.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a point where it's like they could go in there and stop the crime, but they of course there's footage that they released that I saw where the police were rummaging through their things. So I don't know if that crosses a line, if like after the fact they can do that or not, but I don't know enough about Canadian law. And again, it's one of those things where it's like I don't necessarily support the police in doing this, but at the same time, it's like these guys fucking suck. both parties here suck, right?
Yeah, you can disagree or hate both groups equally. There's absolutely no conflict there in my mind.
Let's hear this random person off the street. Because why not? Why the fuck not?
Says it all.
Doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I mean, there's no magistrate that would hand down a judgment like
Fucking
that
incredible
to come
voice.
on board on a space that someone's rented, if that's the impression I got, because of what I learned, that you guys hired this to come down as an Airbnb place.
That's correct.
So if that's the case, then they should start searching all the Airbnbs.
In any event, you
doesn't know what an Airbnb is.
Yeah, also seems to have. I was just gonna say, seems to have a fundamental misunderstanding of the situation too. But whatever.
If they could just search your Airbnb, they can just search them all. Yeah,
that's
Brits
a
out.
What was that, Vienna?
I said Brits out.
Yeah.
You can bet the farm we are going to fight this. We're going to fight the criminal charges.
Jesus.
We're going to fight the mask tickets. By the way, I got one of those for $1,550. And there's going to be civil action too, because you know our boss, Ezra Levant, he's a lion. He doesn't bend the knee for anyone, especially police officers who think that they are above the law, as opposed to members who should be enforcing the law. What a disgrace that happened in Montreal 24 hours ago today. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies.
This is the thing that like always annoys me with their bullshit, which is that anyone that wants to say fight an unjust law should come with knowing that they're breaking the law while doing it. But conservatives always want to make this sort of like next step, which is to say we're not actually breaking any law, that these laws aren't in fact laws in the first place. But it's like, no, like you're supposed to go, look, they're enforcing this. This is a law right now. It shouldn't be a law, and that's why I'm fighting it. And you take your arrest with grace.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand this idea of like, it's not really a law. They're breaking. They're the ones breaking the law. And it's like, no, you broke the law, bud.
And we talked about it earlier, but it's worth highlighting again, just that, like, you know, this attitude that they have towards, like, when it comes to police enforcing the law for them, it's, you know, it's such a huge problem, and they're above the law, as they're saying. But when it comes to someone like, say, and I've been trying to think of the name, but the young kid that was just shot in Chicago, and killed.
Adam Toledo.
Yes, that's it. You know, like he stops, he puts his hands up, and then you have like Ben Shapiro saying like, well, when you throw the gun away, that's not exactly like, you know, that's not entirely innocent, right? He had the gun, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? If you comply, you're shot. If you don't comply, you're shot. But in this case,
but that's the
if
thing,
you don't
like,
comply, you're shoved and like all this.
Well, even with his like 2 hips thing. And like he might be, he'll use the excuse of like, they were being really aggressive with me and I'm clearly not a threat. It's like, you shoved a police officer. Like, you know what I mean? It's like they never use those excuses for themselves, because of course when they do it, it's noble and like it's the police that are unjust. But it clearly is race. It expresses their own racism, because like, I mean, obviously with the affirmative action hiring bullshit, like these people are terrible pieces of shit and human garbage. So
yes.
And that's the way that it is. So like, yeah, it's disgusting, that double standard, and that's why I say like they're on this kick right now that's very anti-police, and I just don't buy it. You're anti-police because they're cracking down on you violating these COVID restrictions, which are for the greater good of society to a certain extent, because we don't want the spread of a pandemic.
They are anti-police for as long as their audience is anti-lockdown and anti-police, because at the moment it serves them. That's why. And the moment that things start to go back to normal, which hopefully is soon, but this fresh hell seems to be going on forever, I'm sure that they will fucking adjust and be right back on the side of every other white nationalist that's out there.
Well, that's because even these lockdown people, that's why they're adopting this language, because the anti-lockdown people are adopting this language, where it's like you'll see Chris Sky running around being like, they're not really laws, you don't have to pay the fines aren't real. It's almost like sovereign citizen shit. Like, I don't know if you know who sovereign citizens are.
Yes, yeah, no, it absolutely
that, like, law is this weird, like, they're magical words, and like you're not really a citizen, you're like an independent person, you're like your own feudal state or something. And they like,
it's this pseudo-libertarian bullshit.
Yes. And so it almost comes across like that, where they're trying to play this game like these COVID laws are not real. And it's like, no, they're real. They're really there, and it really gives them authority. Now, you might argue that it's unconstitutional, but you will need to challenge that in a court, and it'll have to go up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will decide that. And it might very well be that some of these laws are unconstitutional, but you have to go through the motions. You can't just decide today that they're unconstitutional. That's not how it works, you know? Because it could go up to the Supreme Court, and they might go, it is constitutional, and you're fucked. Right?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's blatant, and I mean, we're preaching to the choir in a lot of ways and talking to our audience about it. But I mean, like, it's crazy to me to watch this shit and be like, people eat this up, and they don't seem to understand the double standard.
Yeah, and it's full circle too. Getting back to like the beginning of the show too, which is like, I'm annoyed that these Ontario restrictions and the authorities that they're giving to the police right now are going to embolden these assholes and assholes like them to be like, see, we were right. These are draconian crackdowns. And so it's fucked. We live in hell.
Hello, my rebels. Hello, my rebels. I'm a good boy. I'm a weirdo.